Good morning. First of all, we'll start with a 2 to 3 news report from the internet. You may play the first round.
A Form 4 student was stabbed to death by a junior at a school in Proficiency this morning. Inspector General of Police Khalid Ismail said the victim died at the scene, adding that the stabbing occurred right outside the classroom. The incident occurred at around 9:30 a.m. The suspect, a male Form 2 student, reportedly armed with a knife, stabbed other students as well. Khalid added that the suspect had been arrested. Speaking to reporters, he said the police have yet to determine the motive behind the incident and are still conducting further investigations. Khalid added that Selangor Police Chief CHEE will issue a statement on the case. Joshua Jereza, FFT. Police believe that the 14-year-old boy who allegedly stabbed a senior at a school in Proficiency yesterday intended to kill the victim. Selangor Police Chief said they believe the stabber was carrying the intention to kill. He said investigations also revealed that the suspect had feelings for the 16-year-old victim but never expressed them. The victim was believed to be unaware. Shazali added that the two did not personally know each other as they were in different classes and of different ages. Police have also confirmed the discovery of a handwritten note being found by the suspect. The note, which has been widely shared on social media, reportedly contained several messages, including a reference to a mass shooting in the U.S. Yesterday, the 16-year-old student was fatally stabbed at SMK Proficiency 4. Police said a 14-year-old schoolmate attacked her multiple times with two sharp weapons, both later seized by investigators. Joshua Jereza, FFT.
You may play the second round.
A Form 4 student was stabbed to death by a junior at a school in Proficiency this morning. Inspector General of Police Khalid Ismail said the victim died at the scene, adding that the stabbing occurred right outside the classroom. The incident occurred at around 9:30 a.m. The suspect, a male Form 2 student, reportedly armed with a knife, stabbed other students as well. Khalid added that the suspect had been arrested. Speaking to reporters, he said the police have yet to determine the motive behind the incident and are still conducting further investigations. Khalid added that Selangor Police Chief CHEE will issue a statement on the case. Joshua Jereza, FFT. Police believe that the 14-year-old boy who allegedly stabbed a senior at a school in Proficiency yesterday intended to kill the victim. Selangor Police Chief said they believe the stabber was carrying the intention to kill. He said investigations also revealed that the suspect had feelings for the 16-year-old victim but never expressed them. The victim was believed to be unaware. Shazali added that the two did not personally know each other as they were in different classes and of different ages. Police have also confirmed the discovery of a handwritten note being found by the suspect. The note, which has been widely shared on social media, reportedly contained several messages, including a reference to a mass school shooting in the U.S. Yesterday, a 16-year-old student was fatally stabbed at SMK Proficiency 4. Police said a 14-year-old schoolmate attacked her multiple times with two sharp weapons, both later seized by investigators. Joshua Jereza, FFT.
Thank you, Lee. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Tai Singing, which play role of Minister of Education.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tai Chi, which is the Student Council leader.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Go Cha-eun, which is the Parents Association chair.
Today, we're discussing a very tragic and shocking case that happened in Malaysia. A school stabbing incident where a 14-year-old student fatally stabbed his 16-year-old senior. According to local news, the attack happened inside the toilet. This tragedy has not only caused fear among students and parents, but has also sparked a nationwide debate about school safety, mental health, and how we educate our young generation about emotions and empathy.
Yes, Shane, I agree. As a representative from the Ministry of Education, I must say this is one of the most disturbing cases we have seen in the recent years. A school is supposed to be a safe and nurturing environment, not a place of violence. When something like this happens in school, it suggests multiple failures in communication, in supervision, and perhaps in emotional education. It raises the question, are we paying enough attention to the emotional well-being of our students? Or are we focusing too narrowly on academics but not the overall performances of the student?
That's good point, right? From a mental health perspective, this strategy reflects the deep emotional strategies that many students may be facing silently. A 14-year-old doesn't just wake up one day and decided to stab a classmate. Something must have been building up: anger, isolation, resentment, or even untreated trauma. This case is a mirror of how we as adults might have missed the early warning sign.
Exactly, and as a student leader, I can say that many students do feel pressure in academic stress, competition, family expectation, or even bullying. But because school does always provide a safe space to express emotions, students keep everything inside until they break down.
Yes, let us show the notes that we jotted down just now. We forgot to show it. Alright, so let's discuss the possible causes more deeply. From the minister's side, we believe that there are several overlapping issues. First, discipline and respect in school have declined. Many young people today are heavily influenced by social media and online behavior. They see arguments, hate speech, and even violence normalized in nowadays online. Over time, it shapes how they respond to conflict. Second, emotional education is still weak in our curriculum. We teach moral values, but we rarely teach emotional control, empathy, or how to deal with anger. Lastly, school-family communication has gaps. Parents and teachers often assume the other side is handling, while in reality, no one is addressing the emotional side of the child.
From a psychology point of view, suppressed emotions are extremely dangerous in adolescence. Teenagers experience strong emotions but lack the skill to manage them. If a child feels rejected, bullied, or misunderstood, and doesn't have anyone to confide in, the pain turns inwards until it explodes outwards as violence. There's also still stigma around mental health in Malaysia. Students feel being called crazy or weak if they seek help, so they keep quiet. Their silence can be deadly.
In my school, I have seen students who struggle emotionally just withdraw. They stop talking, stop participating, and teachers sometimes interpret it as bad attitude. I think teachers need more awareness and training to notice emotional distress early. A simple "are you okay?" can make a big difference.
That's very true, CHEE. We have been discussing introducing early intervention system in school, like short well-being check-ins every term, but we face another challenge: shortage of counselors. Many schools in rural areas share one counselor for hundreds of students. It is unrealistic to expect deep individual attention in that situation.
That's where collaboration comes in. Mental health professionals, NGO, and parents associations could help provide external support. We can't just rely on the education system alone. Mental health is a community issue.
The consequences of this case are truly heartbreaking. The students who witnessed the stabbing will probably never forget it. Some may develop PTSD, anxiety, or fear of being in school. Even those who didn't witness it might start to associate school with danger. It affects everyone's sense of safety.
After the incident, we have received reports of parents feeling anxious about sending their children to school. There's even a growing demand for stricter security measures like bag checks, metal detectors, surveillance cameras. Another consequence is the public perception of teachers. People are asking, where were the teachers when it happened? That criticism, while understandable, can also demoralize educators who are already overwhelmed.
We should not forget the emotional aftermath for both families, the victims and the perpetrators. The victim's family is grieving, while the other's family must carry pride and shame. Society often isolates them too. These are two destroyed families, not just one.
It also creates fear among students. After similar incidents, students become more cautious or suspicious of each other. It damages the sense of community and trust we're supposed to have in school.
That's why healing is just as important as prevention. We need post-crisis counselor for affecting students, teachers, and even parents. We can't assume everyone will move on naturally. Let me share some of the ministry proposed initiatives. The first one, mandatory emotional health programs, like introducing structured lessons on self-awareness, empathy, and anger management. The second one, counselor ration improvement, like working to assign at least one full-time counselor per school. The third one, training the teachers, not to become psychologists, but to recognize early behavior red flags. The fourth one will be anonymous reporting platforms, so that the students can safely report concerns when they face the same situation. The fifth one, which is also the last one, collaboration with parents, like workshops on emotional intelligence and digital safety. What do you think about that?
I think prevention must begin before a crisis. Schools should provide safe spaces like rooms where students can relax, talk, and decompress without judgment. We should normalize talking about mental health the same way we talk about physical health. If a student can say, I have a headache, they should also feel safe to say, I feel really sad today.
As for the student community, we can play a more active role. Peer-led programs like student buddies or empathy teams help students open up more easily to their peers. If every student had at least one trust peer, it might prevent feelings of isolation. What do you think, Diane?
That's a great idea, CHEE. Peer support networks can complement the formal system we are building. Maybe we can launch a National Students for Students campaign where trained youth leaders help their peers manage stress. What do you think about Jan?
I think we also need to address the digital environment. Children spend hours online exposed to toxic contents like violence, bullying, unrealistic expectations. Media like these programs can teach them how to manage what they consume.
Yes, digital empathy is essential for today. Emotional reflection activities like journaling, mindfulness, or group discussion can also teach the students to process emotions constructively.
After discussing this for half an hour, one thing is clear. This tragedy was not caused by a single problem. It's the result of emotional neglect, social pressure, and lack of communication. but it's also a reminder that change is possible, starting from awareness and conversation.
As adults and educators, we must stop thinking of mental health as a side topic. It should be part of every school culture. If students feel safe emotionally, violence will naturally decrease.
For the Ministry of Education has also learned an important lesson. Academic success cannot come at the cost of emotional well-being. Schools must nurture both the mind and the heart.
As students, we must also look out for each other. Small acts of care can save a life.
Unlimitedly, safely begin with empathy. A society that listens is a society that helps.
So let's work together. Educators, parents, school, and mental health advocates to build school where no child even feels so lost or angry that they turn it to violence. Okay, after our final discussion, we have agreed that this tragedy is not just a single act of violence. It reflects deeper problems in how we approach education, mental health, and communication. As a representative of the Ministry of Education, I believe that the only way forward is to build what we call a whole school mental wellness ecosystem. It is a system where emotional well-being is treated just as seriously as academic success.
Yes, the ecosystem must start with education. We need to teach empathy, self-awareness, and emotional control as part of the school curriculum. Not as an extra subject, but as a life skill. And beyond that, every school should have proper counseling support and a safe space for students to express themselves. Parents and teachers must also work together because emotional help doesn't stop at the classroom door.
As students, we have a role too. We can build peer support networks to being there for one another, listening when someone feels lost, and speaking up when something feels wrong. In the end, preventing violence isn't about fear or punishment. It's about connection and care. If every student feels seen, heard, and supported, we can truly create schools that are not only safe but filled with understanding and compassion.
Together, we believe the best way to prevent violence is to nurture empathy because a caring generation builds a safer future. Okay, so I see there's a question from our audience, so you may ask your question for now.
After listening to your opinion, I have a question to ask our Parent Association Chair. How can we encourage students to actually open up about their emotions, especially in cultures where it's considered weak to talk about feelings?
That's a very important question. In many Asian cultures, especially here in Malaysia, students are often told to be strong and to control their feelings. Because of that, they grow up believing that showing sadness or stress is a sign of weakness. To change that mindset, we must start early, even from primary school, by normalizing emotional expression in everyday lessons. Teachers can begin their classes with short emotional check-ins, asking questions like, how are you feeling today? Or what's one thing that made you smile this week? It doesn't take much time, but it sends a powerful message that feeling matters. Parents also play a huge role. When adults showing it's okay to talk about bad days, children will follow. If a child says, I feel lonely, instead of replying, don't be so sensitive, we can say, I understand, tell me more. Schools can also organize Mental Health Awareness Week or story sharing circles where students are encouraged to share experience safely. The key is to build trust and constantly. Only when students feel truly listened to, they will start opening up.
Thank you, Jared. Next, I would like to ask our Minister of Education about what can teachers do if they suspect a student might be emotionally unstable or potentially violent.
That is a tough but very real question. Teachers are not trained psychologists, but they spend the most time with students, which means they are often the first person to notice warning signs. If a teacher notices sudden changes, like a once active student becoming quiet and isolated, or showing anger over only small things, that is a red flag. The first step is to stay observant and document these changes, then report to the school, counselor, or principal immediately. But beyond that, teachers can take small but meaningful actions. Sometimes a simple private conversation like "I have noticed you seem or becoming quiety lately. Is everything okay?" Can open a door for help. It's also important to listen without judgment, not to jump to conclusion or to scold the students. The Ministry of Education is also right now working on new teacher training modules so that educators can recognize early signs of emotional distress and refer students to professionals before problems become worsened. Finally, teachers should take care of their own mental health too. Only when educators feel supported, they can truly support their students as well. So it is a collective effort, not just an individual responsibility.
I like your point of view, Dai. The last question is for student council leader about as a student leader, what can we do to make our peers feel safer after such incidents?
That's a great question, and honestly one that every student leader should ask. After an incident like this, fear and anxiety can spread quickly among students. Everyone starts to wonder, could it happen again, or can I trust my classmates? The best thing student leader can do is to rebuild that sense of community and safety. For example, start small peer support groups where students can check in on one another. Sometimes just knowing that someone cares enough to ask, "Hey, you okay today?" can change everything. We can also organize awareness campaign, not just about safety, but about kindness and empathy. Posters, assemblies, or social media campaign that say it's okay to talk or be kind. Everyone's fighting a battle. You can shift the atmosphere in school. Another powerful step is creating a buddy system. Pairing new or quiet students with a peer mentor who helps them adapt and feel included. When students feel connected, it reduces loneliness and tension. Lastly, we as student leaders must lead by example. How we handle stress, how we speak to others. All this influence our peers more than we think. If we show understanding and respect, it inspires others to do the same. That's how safety and trust grow again step by step.
That's all from us. Thank you.